If you truly wish to understand the influence that language has on your soul, you need only listen to the way you speak to yourself. In every thought, you weave the threads of your identity. In every word, you shape the very character of your existence. Now imagine for a moment if you could harness the immense power of those thoughts, those words, not to belittle, but to uplift and inspire. The power of self-talk is a force more influential than we often give it credit. If we speak to ourselves with negativity, doubt, or harsh criticism, our behavior and decisions will inevitably reflect that internal environment. Conversely, when we choose to speak to ourselves with encouragement, understanding, and belief, our actions, confidence, and self-worth will align with that positive dialogue. Think of self-talk as the silent dialogue we have with ourselves all day long. Yet these thoughts occur without effort, and before we even realize it, we've embedded beliefs about our worth, potential, and capability in our minds. It is critical to recognize that these self-directed conversations are not passive. They are active forces shaping our reality. We often believe that our reality is determined by external circumstances, our jobs, our relationships, our challenges. But in truth, how we interpret and react to those external elements is heavily influenced by how we speak to ourselves. The way we approach life's challenges, handle setbacks, and navigate difficulties can all be traced back to the narratives we have created within ourselves. The impact of self-talk is not limited to major life events. It affects the smallest moments as well. For example, when faced with a decision, a challenge, or an unfamiliar situation, the first thoughts that arise can set the tone for our actions. If the thought is something along the lines of, on the other hand, if the internal conversation is more along the lines of, I can figure this out, or I've overcome challenges before, and I can do it again, the mindset shifts from one of fear to one of possibility. The difference between these two internal dialogues is the difference between success and stagnation, growth and limitation. Self-talk is not just about affirmations or telling ourselves positive things to boost our mood. It's about being aware of the internal scripts that we repeat to ourselves. Sometimes those scripts are the result of external voices that we have internalized, things people have said to us over the years, whether intentionally or unintentionally. In childhood, for instance, we may have internalized messages of inadequacy or incompetence from teachers, parents, or peers. As we grow older, these early messages shape how we view ourselves and our abilities, often without us realizing it. But the good news is that self-talk is not set in stone. Just as we have learned negative, self-defeating thoughts over time, we can also unlearn them and replace them with more empowering ones. This is not about denying or ignoring reality. It's about reframing our perception of ourselves and our circumstances. The more aware we become of how we talk to ourselves, the more we can consciously shift those conversations toward positive and empowering directions. This shift is not instantaneous. It requires intentional effort and practice. Just like any habit, changing our self-talk demands consistency and awareness. By questioning the validity of negative self-talk, we can start to distance ourselves from it and begin to replace it with thoughts that are more aligned with reality and our true potential. Over time, this practice will reshape our mindset and our relationship with ourselves. The power of self-talk can be particularly transformative when we face challenges. Often, when we encounter setbacks, our initial thoughts may be critical, harsh, or discouraging. We may think, I can't do this. This is too hard, or I'm not smart enough. These thoughts are not factual. They are based on fear, self-doubt, and insecurity. However, when we consciously choose to replace those negative thoughts with more constructive and empowering ones, it's important to remember that self-talk is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about how we respond to those challenges. We can acknowledge difficulty and still maintain a positive outlook. When we change the way we talk to ourselves, we develop resilience and perseverance. This change in internal dialogue can lead to increased confidence and a greater willingness to face obstacles head-on, knowing that we have the inner strength to overcome them. Moreover, self-talk is a reflection of our self-belief. If we constantly berate ourselves, it can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth. But when we engage in positive self-talk, we begin to reinforce the belief that we are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. It creates a feedback loop of confidence, growth, and success. The quality of our self-talk directly influences our emotional state. When we speak to ourselves in a loving and supportive way, we experience greater peace and contentment. Conversely, when we are critical and harsh, we create a constant state of tension and stress. By practicing self-compassion and offering ourselves the same kindness we would offer a loved one, we can cultivate emotional well-being and a deeper sense of inner peace. The impact of self-talk is not confined to the individual. The relationship we have with ourselves is the foundation of all our other relationships, and it is crucial that we nurture it with positivity, patience, and love. So, if we are to truly understand the power of self-talk, we must recognize that it is not merely a fleeting or inconsequential aspect of our lives. It is a fundamental force shaping our reality. The thoughts we have, the words we speak to ourselves, determine the lens through which we view the world and the actions we take. It is through the transformation of our self-talk that we can begin to transform our lives, unlocking new possibilities and potential we never thought possible. The conversation we have with ourselves is not just an internal monologue. It is the very blueprint for the life we will lead. To speak to yourself with kindness is not simply an exercise in self-indulgence or empty flattery. It is a deliberate choice to honor your worth, acknowledge your struggles, and offer yourself the same compassion that you so freely extend to others. Yet when it comes to our own moments of struggle or self-doubt, the act of speaking kindly to yourself has the power to change not only how you view yourself, but how you approach the world. Imagine for a moment that you were to replace your critical negative self-talk with words of understanding and encouragement. Rather than berating yourself for not being perfect or for making a mistake, you gently remind yourself that mistakes are part of the process of growth. You acknowledge that it's okay not to have all the answers and that your value is not dependent on your perfection. You offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a struggling friend, acknowledging their feelings, reminding them of their strengths, and helping them see that they are worthy of love and care, regardless of the temporary setbacks they may face. One of the most significant benefits of speaking to yourself with kindness is that it cultivates a sense of self-worth. When we treat ourselves with gentleness, this shift in perspective can be transformative. Moreover, kind self-talk does not only address the moments when we feel weak or uncertain, it is also a crucial practice during times of success. Often, when we succeed or achieve something meaningful, we dismiss the accomplishment, attributing it to luck or external circumstances. But kind self-talk allows us to truly acknowledge our achievements, to recognize the effort, skill, and determination we invested in reaching that goal. In doing so, we build our confidence and reinforce our belief in our own capabilities. Rather than diminishing our success, kind words allow us to celebrate our strengths and propel ourselves forward into new opportunities. Additionally, speaking to ourselves kindly helps to reduce anxiety and stress. When we are faced with uncertainty or challenges, the natural tendency is often to respond with self-criticism or fear. We may doubt our ability to succeed, or may focus on potential failure rather than the steps we can take to move forward. Kindness, however, allows us to approach these situations with a sense of calm and patience. Instead of panicking or becoming overwhelmed, we remind ourselves that we are capable of navigating through difficulty, and that, even if things don't go as planned. Moreover, kindness to oneself helps to foster a more balanced and realistic self-perceived. Often the narratives we tell ourselves are filled with exaggerated flaws or unattainable standards. When we are able to speak to ourselves kindly, we are more likely to view ourselves objectively, recognizing both our strengths and areas for growth without falling into self-judgment. This balanced view is essential for personal development because it allows us to see ourselves with honesty. Kindness to oneself also plays a vital role in breaking the cycle of perfectionism. Many people struggle with the overwhelming desire to be perfect, often driven by an inner critic that is merciless and unforgiving. By replacing that critical voice with one that is gentle and understanding, we begin to accept that perfection is not the goal. Instead, progress, learning, and growth are the real measures of success. This mindset shift is essential for mental well-being, as it takes the pressure off and allows us to embrace our humanity. After all, nobody is perfect, and true success lies in the willingness to try, to stumble, and to rise again. The beauty of speaking to yourself with kindness is that it is a practice you can begin immediately. It doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary changes. It simply involves being aware of how you talk to yourself and making the conscious decision to treat yourself with the respect and care you deserve. In those quiet moments when you are alone with your thoughts, take note of how you speak to yourself. If it is harsh, unkind, or critical, gently guide it back to a place of compassion. With time, this shift will become more natural, and you will begin to see the world and yourself through a new lens, one that is grounded in patience, understanding, and the unwavering belief that you are deserving of kindness. The idea of transforming negativity into positivity is one of the most empowering concepts we can adopt in our lives. Negative self-talk, that critical and judgmental voice in our heads, is something that many of us are all too familiar with. It's often so ingrained in us that we may not even recognize it as it unfolds. Over time, these negative thoughts accumulate and become the lens through which we view ourselves and the world around us. They shape our behavior, influence our decisions. It is important to recognize the power that our thoughts hold. What we think influences what we feel, and what we feel in turn influences what we do. If we tell ourselves that we are not good enough, that we will fail, or that we will never succeed, those thoughts will naturally lead to feelings of fear, inadequacy, and helplessness. These emotions in turn will guide our behavior, often causing us to avoid challenges, doubt our capabilities, or give up before we even try. Negative self-talk becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where our internal narrative dictates our external reality. But just as negative thoughts can shape our lives in destructive ways, positive thoughts have the power to do the opposite. When we intentionally replace negative self-talk with positive affirmation, they remind us of the strengths we already possess and encourage us to keep going, even when things seem difficult. The process of replacing negativity with positivity is not instantaneous. It requires conscious effort and consistency. It involves recognizing when negative thoughts arise and making a deliberate choice to reframe them into something that serves us better. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," you can reframe it by saying, "This is challenging, but I have the ability to figure it out." Or, if you think, "I always fail," you can replace that with, "I have faced setbacks before, and I learn from them. I am capable of succeeding." These small shifts in perspective don't ignore, instead, they acknowledge. The power of positive affirmations lies in their ability to gradually rewire our thinking patterns. Just as negative self-talk has become a habit over time, positive affirmations can become a habit as well. The more we practice speaking to ourselves in a constructive and empowering way, the more natural it will feel. Over time, we begin to believe the positive statements we repeat to ourselves. and they become our truth. This shift in mindset can have profound effects on our actions, our relationships, and our overall sense of self-worth. One of the key benefits of transforming negative thoughts into positive affirmations is that it helps us to approach challenges with a mindset of possibility rather than defeat. Life is full of obstacles, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed when we encounter them. Negative self-talk often exacerbates the feeling of being stuck or incapable, making the problem seem insurmountable. However, when we replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmations, we shift our perspective. We begin to see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," we start thinking, "This is difficult, but I can handle it. I have overcome obstacles before, and I can do it again." This shift allows us to face challenges with greater confidence, perseverance, and creativity. Positive affirmations also help to combat feelings of self-doubt and insecurity. By replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmations, we challenge those limiting beliefs and start to affirm our inherent worth. Furthermore, the process of transforming negative self-talk into positive affirmations can lead to improved mental health. Negative thoughts contribute to feelings of anxiety, depression, and stress, as they create a constant undercurrent of self-criticism and fear. Positive affirmations, on the other hand, can counteract these negative emotions by promoting feelings of calm, self-assurance, and inner peace. When we speak to ourselves in a supportive and loving way, we create a mental environment that nurtures our emotional well-being. This practice can help reduce the intensity of negative emotions and create a greater sense of balance and resilience. Another powerful aspect of transforming negativity into positivity is its ability to improve our relationships. How we talk to ourselves directly impacts how we interact with others. When we are constantly engaged in negative self-talk, we may project feelings of insecurity, defensiveness, or frustration onto those around us. We may struggle to accept compliments or praise because we don't believe we deserve it. By shifting our internal dialogue to one of positivity and self-compassion, we become more open to receiving love and appreciation from others. We are better able to communicate with confidence and authenticity, and we create stronger, more supportive connections with the people around us. Our positive self-talk sets the tone for how we engage with the world, fostering healthier, more fulfilling relationships. In addition to improving our relationships, transforming negative thoughts into positive affirmations can also enhance our overall outlook on life. Negative self-talk often causes us to focus on what is wrong, what we lack, or what we fear. This narrow focus on the negative can prevent us from seeing the opportunities and possibilities that are available to us. Positive affirmations, however, help us to focus on what is going well, what we have achieved, and what we are capable of. This shift in focus cultivates an attitude of gratitude and optimism, which can transform our experience of life. When we approach life with a mindset of possibility, we begin to attract more of what we desire and deserve. The process of transforming negative self-talk into positive affirmations is not about denying reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It is about acknowledging the difficulties we face while also affirming our strength, resilience, and ability to navigate them. It's about changing the narrative from one of defeat and limitation to one of empowerment and possibility. Over time, this shift will not only improve the way we see ourselves, but it will also enhance every aspect of our lives. It will help us to face challenges with courage, embrace opportunities with confidence, and live a life that is aligned with our true potential. Through the simple act of transforming negativity into positivity, we begin to unlock the doors to a brighter and more fulfilling future. Mastering your thoughts is an empowering concept that holds the key to transforming your life. We often find ourselves at the mercy of our thoughts, swept away by the tide of emotions and ideas that arise seemingly out of nowhere. These thoughts can dictate how we feel, how we perceive the world around us, and ultimately how we respond to life's challenges. But the truth is, we are not helpless in the face of our thoughts. We have the ability to shape and direct them. When we talk about mastering our thoughts, it's not about suppressing them or trying to eliminate all negative thinking. Rather, it's about becoming aware of the thoughts that arise, and then consciously deciding which ones we want to entertain. Thoughts are natural and unavoidable, but we don't have to accept every thought as truth or allow it to dictate our actions. The first step in mastering our thoughts is awareness. We need to become aware of the thoughts we have on a daily basis, especially those that are negative, limiting, or self-defeating. Many of us have a running narrative in our minds that we don't even realize is happening. We may criticize ourselves, doubt our abilities, or focus on what's not going well in our lives. These thoughts may be so automatic that we don't question them, but they have a powerful effect on our mindset and the way we navigate the world. Once we become aware of our thoughts, we can begin to challenge them. We don't have to accept every thought as fact. If a thought arises that is negative or limiting, we can pause and ask ourselves, is this thought true? Does it serve me? Is it based on facts, or is it based on fear or insecurity? It allows us to separate ourselves from the thoughts that don't serve us and take a step back from the mental noise that often overwhelms us. Instead of reacting impulsively to our thoughts, we can respond with intention, choosing thoughts that are more supportive and empowering. Mastering our thoughts also involves reframing negative or limiting thoughts. If we catch ourselves thinking, I can't do this, we can reframe it by thinking, this is challenging, but I am capable of figuring it out. If we think, I always fail, we can reframe that by saying, I have faced challenges before and I have learned from them. I can try again. This practice of reframing helps us shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mind instead of viewing ourselves as incapable or defined. Another aspect of mastering your thoughts is learning to let go of those that don't serve you. Many of us hold on to thoughts that create unnecessary stress, worry, or doubt. We may ruminate over past mistakes, obsess over things we cannot change, or fear the future. These thoughts only drain our energy and prevent us from being present in the moment. Mastering our thoughts involves learning to let go of these unhelpful thought patterns. This doesn't mean ignoring our problems or pretending that everything is fine. It simply means recognizing when our thoughts are spiraling into unproductive territory and making the conscious choice to release them. We can use techniques such as mindfulness, deep breathing, or even simple distraction to redirect our focus and let go of thoughts that are no longer serving us. A powerful tool in mastering our thoughts is the practice of positive affirmations. These are intentional, positive statements that help us focus on our strengths, potential, and growth. By repeating positive affirmations daily, we train our minds to focus on what is good, possible, and within our control. Positive affirmations can help us replace negative or limiting thoughts with ones that empower and uplift us. They remind us of our worth, capabilities, and resilience. The more we incorporate positive affirmations into our daily routine, the more we begin to rewire our brains to focus on what is positive and empowering. It's important to note that mastering your thoughts is not about perfection, it's about progress. We will all have negative or limiting thoughts from time to time. That is part of being human. But the key is not to let those thoughts control us. By practicing awareness, questioning, reframing, and letting go, we can begin to master our thoughts and take charge of our lives. The more we practice these techniques, the more natural they become. We begin to respond to challenges with resilience and optimism instead of fear and doubt. We begin to approach life with a sense of empowerment, knowing that we have the ability to choose our thoughts and shape our reality. Through this mastery, we unlock our true potential and create a life that aligns with our deepest values and desires.